Hey, long time no speak, my friends. This is a little bit of an experiment, and I don't know if I can stabilize it enough. I think I can now. Right. Not the perfect angle because I'm in a new place. And first off, buenas, hola. Been a little bit of a while. Been a bit of a spell. Been a bit of a spell in more ways than one. So my last video was I can't remember, a couple of months ago at least. Basically, things got really tough for me at the end of March when I had a little bit of a double whammy, triple whammy, where I had some unpleasant news about dentistry, a sort of forced evacuation a little bit earlier than I really wanted to from where I was living, which has more or less completed. Well, it has completed. And most serious of all is my ongoing eye issues, which I think I alluded to last time, which consist of a macular hole in my left eye, which will need an operation, and that looks like it's going to be August time frame, though there's some complications to do with transport, where I'm going to recover. It's an indeterminate recovery period, which is quite, as it were, an intense recovery period where I have to kind of lie very still. I don't really have anywhere to do that. And then I have not allowed to fly for at least 12 weeks after the operation, which means coming back here on the train to Spain, southern Spain, which could be fun, which could be good, right? I don't know. So it's been a very disruptive couple of months. I've been all over the place. I've been in various parts of it, the UK. I've been in various parts of Spain. I am now recently properly in my kind of, I'm going to call it a temporary place. This isn't going to work for me long term. Mid-term it might not work for me. It's very isolated. I mean, it's beautiful, it's nice. I might take a supplementary video of next time of some of the kind of sites, you know. There's nothing to do in the village. There's not even a bar. Well, there's a kind of a bar, but it's a bit of a walk. It's very difficult for someone like me who's not a driver to live in a place like this. Did I know this? Yes. Did I kind of assume I'd kind of work through it? Yes. Can I work through it? I guess, for a short period of time. I'm actually going back to the UK via another quick trip down to Malaga. Kind of like, well, I need to be back in the UK certainly for hopefully the last part of this fun dentistry on the 23rd of June, and from there I have a couple of things to do, and then I'm teaching English, which is my kind of summer job, which I really like doing, and that's kind of takes me up to August, early August, and that's going to be when the next step in the eye journey happens, recovery, stuff like that. So I'm going to be away from here for quite a chunk of the summer anyway. I'll avoid the heat. It's kind of like, it's unusually hot, about 30 odd, I believe, this time of year here. Okay, and then from there, I mean, I'm going to say till Christmas, absolute max. If I can't stand it more than that, I'll just kind of move to it. I do want to kind of give like Malaga. I've decided Malaga, not Granada, a year. So yeah, and it's kind of, you know, kicked me in the head a little bit, all this with I was very jolly and seemed to be going in the right direction, you know, mental health wise, kind of like in the spring, but it's been very uncertain time. My eyes aren't great. I mean, I can more or less see, I can more or less work. It's not great. That's just something I'm gonna have to put up with. I had this right eye lasered, and I'm not sure I've seen fantastic improvement in it. I mean, I think it's a slow process. I think it's about 6 weeks, should be sort of. They checked it and they said it was healing the right way, so I'm just going to be patient with that. But I mean, it's tough. It's been tough for me, and it's not how I kind of saw my year going at all. I mean, trying to be optimistic. If all the eye stuff is sorted out by kind of autumn, if I've got a slightly better, more connected place to live in by Christmas, I guess that wouldn't be too bad, right? Now, listen. The point of this channel isn't for me to blather on about all my worries and woes. It's supposed to be my summer reading list, and which I've neglected, haven't really done much reading at all. I've got two things to talk about briefly, I hope, maybe even interestingly, one can only hope. I do want to share some thoughts on Doctor Who, and I was hopping mad at the end of season 2 on Friday night, Saturday actually, of course, when I watched it. I thought that was very poor stuff, really, and I've been thinking about it a lot, and I think the I don't want it to end. I've got huge affection for Doctor Who. I've never been a complete, absolute massive fanboy. I caught a little bit of Troughton, very scary. I did all of, to my knowledge, Pertwee. Stayed around for maybe half of Baker. Started getting a bit tired of him. The sort of last linear transmission Doctor Who scheduled programme I watched was Peter Davidson's, isn't it? Right, the 5th Doctor, his first episode. And I thought, this isn't really for me anymore. I didn't see a second of Sylvester McCoy. I didn't see, at the time, a second of Colin Baker, right? So, but when New Who came along, I was initially a little bit sceptical, but I got enthusiastic, at least one very enthusiastic Doctor Who fan who kind of nudged me into it, and I don't think I saw all of Eccleston, but what I saw I liked. But I really got into it in Tennant, but most especially for me, and it was lovely because it was totally appropriate for her at the time. The kind of Matt Smith, Amy Pond, is his name Arthur, or was that the actor? Rory, the character, right? That all that was brilliant, and Flea loved it, and we used to love watching it. I think when the Pandorica opened, she said, she's very sweet, very small. She said, "This is the best story ever," and in a way, she was right, because it probably was the best story that she'd sort of seen ever. And great. I love Capaldi. I bombed out in Whittaker. I watched the first couple of episodes of Whittaker, and I thought, every single line of her dialogue has an exclamation mark at the end, and I liked her and I liked her energy. I kind of got the kind of universal family companions and etc. But I gave up, right? Last year, when I was kind of stuck in the country in Montevideo, I went back and I finished off all of Whittaker, and I'd say, quite a lot. I think it got definitely better. I don't know what I feel about the Fugitive Doctor and the Timeless Child thing, and I don't know. Flux was very illustrative of what I want to talk about briefly. What I think has gone wrong with Doctor Who, in my humble opinion, is it's all too cosmic. It's all too cosmic. The stakes are absurdly high now, and it's the universe who's always at threat. The universe, not even the galaxy, the universe. The universe is a very, very, very big thing. Very, very big thing. So I guess, I know it's a show for kids. But yeah, okay. Not really. And also, I don't mind the wokeness at all. I don't mind the wokeness. I thought Ncuti was magical. I thought he was beautiful, charismatic, just shining, a gleaming individual, right? It brought huge energy to the role. I mean, I did think it got a little bit silly that he cried in every episode. But, they were playing with the role and the part and everything. What I think ultimately is the sin that Russell T Davies and these writers are committing is it's for TikTok now, right? You're making bits that people can riff off on social media and share and memes and everything. And if you think how young people, that's how they consume content, well, I don't know. I'm not sure I totally buy that. Sorry, that's the noise of the dumper truck, called a dumpy in Spanish, and that is a little thing that sort of ferries people's stuff up and down the kind of steep hills here. He'll go in a second, right? But it's not narratively. It's two things. I hated the move from science fiction to fantasy, because there's nothing wrong with fantasy, but there's no rules anymore. Anything can happen. The Wish Baby. Come on. That's just absurd, right? That's just power beyond, when it is literally theological, mythological. That's not Doctor Who, right? That isn't. The point about Doctor Who is it's rationalism, intelligence. There are monsters, but they can be understood and they can be beaten, and that's why one watched the show as well, for the comradeship, for the bravery, for the humour. And I genuinely do think that at the times when they play the Doctor as an alien is very useful, because it gives us a perspective and it deepens the characterisation and allows for more interesting stuff to happen, etc., 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 right? But in the last thing especially, that they set things up and then they just rug pull you. Why put all that effort into the Rani? Is it just to make the two Ranis joke? Sometimes I think it was. And then you got the whole set of, I mean, she was all set up, Omega was all set up. I don't remember, I didn't watch Omega in the original run, so it was no big thing to me. But what they did was just another silly Sutek-like big monster. My God, you know, then he's done in 20 seconds. Talk about Deus Ex Machina, right? He just bumps into the... And when did you tell us that the Vindicator was a weapon? When did you tell us that we thought it was just a triangulation device? I don't think it's narratively fair. I think that's... When you do a detective story, you put the clues in and you go back and make sure the clues are all there, don't you, right? And so it logically coheres. And they don't do that. They don't bother. They just think, oh, you know, it's magical and cosmic and they won't really notice. Not acceptable. And you set things up like the flash of the fugitive doctor in the barbershop one. You set up the entity knowing the doctor's real name. Don't do anything with it. Didn't do anything with Susan. All this ridiculous stuff about Ruby, and she turns out to be totally no. Or unless there's, you know, why do we have to have the whole story arc per season and all this interlinking stuff? Why can't we just have slower episodes, shorter episodes, more episodes where, yes, okay, a guy here said, well, the Doctor is always the same, isn't it? He goes to an alien planet and he meets a monster and he solves the problem. What was wrong with that, really? Why don't we have more tightly bounded things where he's got to solve a problem with... Hey folks, I'm going to finish off in here because I hadn't expected that. The phone was too hot to record outside, which is kind of funky. Also gives you a chance to see inside my current, I'm going to say, temporary dwelling. Yeah. Okay. Let me finish off. So I think there's I felt cheated basically by what they did with the episode, and I feel huge loyalty, affection. I think it's an amazing, one of the great things that BBC has done for us all. I genuinely do. I feel that there's great stuff in terms of its educational value. One thing I occasionally think, the original project was wasn't just to do space stuff, right? In fact, the original kind of commissioner didn't want a bug-eyed monster every week. What the idea was that they would do historical. So I don't know. I'm not sure. Has that ever really? I mean, I believe in Trout in Hartnell's era. I believe there's some classic, very good, very long-running explorations of history. I don't know if that's something we should be kind of looking to come back to, maybe ground it a bit more. But I certainly think that something's gone wrong with the way the story is told. I don't think there's a problem with he was a great Doctor. I think Jodie Whittaker was a great Doctor. I think the problem is the material, and I think the way it's being packaged up, and I think it needs a rethink. I don't want it to stop. I remain a fan. I always find it, occasionally I'll go back to classic Doctor Who, and I watched a Baker thing with the original Rani. I didn't go to the Sylvester McCoy one because I don't know, there's something about him that I know, people don't tell me he's amazing. I mean, I'm sure he is, but there's something about it. Yeah, okay, so now, all right, so a little bit of period of instability. I have read a book which I will share the details of. Perfectly nice, perfectly cool little toilet book. Do you know what I mean? A bathroom book, a dipper in and out, interesting little bits of information, good global reach, quite a lot of English history, but not too much. Quite a lot of medieval history, but again, not too bad. Maybe a little bit light on the kind of more modern stuff, but okay, sure. I thought that was. I would not keep it. I will not keep it. I think it's perfectly good as it is, and it would be, if it was a buy one get one free in Waterstones, why not? I'm sure you'll find somebody who wants to do it. Now I am gonna, so I'm this sort of slightly uncertain period now. I have a couple of things on the go. There's a short story short story collection that I started ages ago that I picked up again. I have a couple of other things that I really do want to. Sorry, I could just tell my temporary filling is beginning to erode again. Oh god. I've got to have a root canal. I mean, I just do. Okay. So anyway, yeah. So that's fine. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to slice these two videos together. I'm going to put it up. I'm going to force myself to go back in the swing. Now I'm in Brighton. I'm in England most of the summer teaching. So how much opportunity I will have. I mean, I will take books with me. I think it's going to be quite an intense gig, and that's my cue to stop. So I will stop for now, my friends. Okay, bye.